Hi there guys, today we're going to be covering some setup tools, setup station, a ride height gauge and a turnbuckle wrench. So let's get a car on the old setup board. So here I have X-Ray T4 19, so we'll start with ride height and turnbuckle. We'll do turnbuckle for the setup station. So for those who don't know, this is a video for those who don't know how to set up a car basically. You have a ride height gauge. If you notice on the ride height gauge, you'll have numbers which go from, this one goes from 3.8 to 7, and this is in millimeters. So with this, you push it under the car until it touches. I do the same this side, then you check it at the back as well. So this piece before you get to the suspension arm is normally the best place. So that's the ride height gauge. It's a very simple device. Little guide, I guess, if you're starting an RC with a touring car, start with 6mm just across the whole car, or 6.2 maybe at the back and 6 at the front. Either of those would work just fine for beginning. So now we're going to move on to the setup station. So for that you need to remove all the wheel nuts and the wheels. If you are fancy schmancy, then while we were doing the ride height and that, you'd have set up wheels, which are specific fancy looking alloy wheels that you can put on the car to set up the ride height, but it's really an accessory. We won't need to put these wheel nuts on again. You won't even need a tool for them because they just twist on with your thumb. So you can put this tool to one side and you can put the wheel nuts to one side in a safe place where you won't lose them. So with the wheels off, we can now put on the rectangles, I like to call them. So you always want the car to have this part, the horizontal bit poking out the back, and this bit poking out the top towards the front on all corners. So I want to see which way. So if I put it on that side and looked at it, it would be the wrong way round. So the numbers on these rectangles are made for measuring caster, which you need another tool to have with as well. So for now, set it to factory and don't worry about it. It won't make much of a difference. So we're going to put it on this side. And here I have some quick wheel nuts. So these have got little grooves on them. I'm not sure if you can see on the camera. Which just make it nice and easy to spin onto the wheel. I'll show you on the other side so that you can see. So I find the other rectangle which has those numbers on it. There's only 2 in a set of 4. So you can see I'll just push it over the wheel axle. And then once you find the thread, just tighten it up against the wheel hex. Like that. So that's the front done. And from here we will add some triangles to our rectangles. So sorry a bit for the maths lesson and all the shapes and that, but hopefully it's going to help you remember how to fit it on correctly. So we've got all our rectangles on with our quick wheel nuts, just nice to twist it up. You see that didn't take that long. Now we have some triangles, and on these triangles, if you have a look on camera, there's also some numbers on them which are degrees, so, and there's also some lines. So with these, you want to put them on the horizontal pointing parts here. Again, it does kind of matter. So you'll see there's one side which has a groove in it. You can see on camera there, the whiter bit. So, and in these they have like little grub screws. You can see the one below the horizontal one. So we can have a triangle which just pushes on, then you push it against that little grub screw in there. So you can put it, as I said, to all 4 corners. I just like to do it front and back at a time. That one doesn't fit, I need to change that. There we go. So I'll adjust those later. But here we can see the camber. So with these now, you want to take your measurement. I'll get it on camera. In fact, I'll do the back so that it's easy to see. So with our triangles on the car, this is the back of the car by the way, we can now read the camber measurement. So I can't actually read it from here, so have a look now. Yeah, so that's about 1.5, closer to 2 degrees. So for this car, I wanted to have 2 degrees on the rear and 1.5 on the front. So what we'll do is we'll get out our third tool, which is the turnbuckle wrench. Again, very simple concept. It fits on the turnbuckle wrench. You've got all the different millimeter sizes, so you'll most likely different kits will come with different sizes. So like my ARC comes with a 3.2, X-rays I think, well the T4s come with a 4 mil. So if I find the 4 on here, you might be able to see that it will fit onto the turnbuckle like so. So this is now on a turnbuckle. You can now twist the turnbuckle to make it longer and give you less camber, or you can make it shorter to give you more. So another use of the setup station is to do your toe in and your toe out. So you can see this is a Huddy one on here. The idea is you turn your car on, centre the servo in the air so that it's not got any binding resistance against the glass. You then put the car down, and then you can tap it to either side. And there's a line on the top of here which will show up one of these numbers on here. It goes from 5 degrees in to 40 degrees. That's something that confused me. The 5 is 5 degrees in. I was always confused by that because I thought that was 5 degrees, so I've always thought I had like 6 degrees toe out. But 5 degrees is 5 degrees in, and then anything past the darker marked line on this piece here, the taller line, is toe out, and it goes all the way to 40. It's a lot more common to run toe out on these cars, which is why it's got a bigger adjustment range. You can run toe in on the rear, and you can do this by not even having to turn the car on, because there's no difference. So all you're doing really is just matching it to what you've put in the car. 3 degrees in either side, so that's quite a beginner spec. It gives the car more stability if you have the rear towed in. Toe out on the front is good for the reactiveness of the steering. I think you're going into a corner. The way I like to think of it is if you just stand up straight, you look at your feet, they are towed out. So it's the same principle as in manoeuvrability. And that is pretty much it for today's video. It's a pretty short one, but it's just something I've always been confused with when I was starting out in the hobby and I got my first setup station. I always had to ask people to do it for me, so now I don't have to do that, which is a nice privilege. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next one. It's King of Clubs coming up, so our Race to Glory series is starting, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, hit notifications so you don't miss it.